Oh my gosh.
Hello, everybody.
Oh,
Welcome to.
hi.
Hello, Michelle. Did
Hi,
you get
Stacey.
caught
How
off
are you?
guard? Did
The
you?
what?
You got caught off guard?
No, I just looked anyhow. No, I don't know why I'm shining like this, guys. But I'm like, I have nothing in my face to make me shine. But nonetheless, go ahead.
It's that
Oh,
clear skin that reflects and illuminates, luminescence.
I don't know what it
Ah,
is.
it's okay. You're gonna have those questions that you get. Are you glowing for a reason? Those are gonna come your way, like they have been. Correct?
They have. Yes, they have. They definitely
Well,
have.
that's that glow. That's that glow everybody wants
Oh
to.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, again, hello everyone. Welcome to another conversations with Michelle and Stacy. We already started our own conversation on our own sidebar. Thank you again for joining us. We really,
Yes,
really,
thank you.
really appreciate you taking this time out of your day, your schedules, family time, whatever else you could be doing, but you're spending it with us. So thank you so very much.
Thank you. It's very appreciated.
Very
Thank you
appreciate.
for all those who are liking our videos
Yeah.
and watching them. It's definitely, I look at the views and everything because I look at YouTube Studio and I'm like, God, thank you. Thank you for those who are constantly coming back and watching it. So thank you guys again.
The hours are going up there, and I mean,
Yes.
it's we're grateful. Thank you again. So let me say this: today we have another exciting topic, one that we've done before, but we've realized that it's one of the crowd favorites. I say crowd like we have like a whole, but
We
listen,
do.
we
We
do, right?
do.
Whoever you are, we thank you for who you are and taking that
Yes.
time out again, like I said before. Um, so we realized, and we did mention that we were going to have a part two on the conversation about friendship, more so along the line of boundaries, correct, Michelina?
Yes.
I will. So go ahead. You can start us off on that one, and we can take it from there.
Okay. What do you think friendship is to you? Back to you.
I love that question, though. OMG, because now I'm like stopped. What? Oh my gosh.
I caught you off guard.
It. Wow, 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 wow. What is friendship? What does friendship mean to me? Michelle, the philosopher.
Okay, so let me say this for me. I
Yeah.
think, uh,
It's
okay,
a deep
I
question.
love, yes, I think a friend is someone who's closest, like the Bible says, closer than a brother. Um, I have friends in my life that is closest to me than my own family blood. So I think friendship to me is someone who, and I don't use the word like loosely right now, these days. Before I was younger, I'm like, yeah, that's my friend, that's my friend. And even my husband, the other day we were having a conversation, he said, oh, that's not my friend. I know that person. I know of that person because he used to use that word loosely. I'm like, that is not a friend. You know the person, doesn't mean that they're a friend. You know what a friend is? I think a friend is someone who you can rely on, who you can say, hey, I need XYZ, and it doesn't have to be anything financial. It can be just like a friend, someone to talk to, and they're there. Someone who, without saying that you need, can just listen to you or just see your reaction or whatever it is, and they're there to like do the necessary stuff that you need.
Yeah.
You got a friend in me.
I know you're my friend. You're my friend. You're my friend. So just like what you just said, there are lots of people that I know, and I think there's probably levels to friendships, obviously. So then, I mean, I just cleaned up my phone the other day, and I realized that a lot of the people that I know, even people that I knew 15, 20 years ago, they're no longer, they're not enemies, but they're no longer friends per se because they're not in that, we're not familiar with each other anymore. We're
Yeah.
not, so I don't but then it's crazy because then you have friends that you don't speak to for 100 years. You get that phone call and you pick up again.
And
So
pick
I
up.
think
Yeah.
it's really that connection that you have with another soul. That it's two souls connecting in different ways to bring out a particular best in each other,
Yeah.
that that just plays a positive
Or
role
the
in your
worst.
life. Huh?
Or the worst.
Or they can bring up the oh my goodness, all that too, correct? um so there are friends that I have, and it's so crazy because it's so unique. Each friendship is unique because
Yes.
everybody brings something, like I just mentioned. They bring something different out of you sometimes, and there are
Yeah.
things that you'll share with one friend that you may not bring to the other friend because it's just like not within that wheelhouse of what that the culture of that friendship is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
By the way, you better
So,
share everything with me.
oh, that just triggered me, Michelle. Don't trigger. Don't no, do not trigger me.
Hence the reason why I said it.
Don't trigger me. So guys, what do you I mean, I really want to hear from our listeners. Like, do you feel that your friends should have access to every part of your life? Because, okay, within the realm of your friendship, you committing to honesty, you committing to transparency, you committing to just realness, basically. But should another person really feel that they deserve, or they own that, basically that right to know certain things about you, right, or to have access to certain levels of your life?
Well, that word deserve. What do you deserve? No one deserve anything.
Exactly.
No one deserve anything. So that word deserve now. I think that with all friendship, it depends because I'm like with you, like I'm an open book. I can say
Ah,
anything,
really? It took me forever to know your age, Michelle.
girl.
It took me
You see
forever
how
to
you see
know
how
your
you bring up
age.
trigger moment for me too. Oh,
Michelle, I still don't know which island you were hatched on. I'm like, where
oh
were
my
you?
gosh! But
Okay.
listen, the one thing
Uh-huh.
out of the millions that you do know,
Exactly. Exactly. So, but that's, and I say that to make a point too. Like, you have the right to share what you want. The right is always yours, the giver,
yeah,
right? I cannot claim something that from you that I don't have a right to. Everything that you share with me within the realms of our friendship is considered a privilege.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
privilege that you decide that you want to share. It's a privilege that you going to go out your way, because there are things that we do for people in our lives, be it friends, family, whatever. And then there's a certain level of reciprocity that you're expecting, because we're
expected, yeah,
like, all right, we're doing this for each other. As my friend, you're here for me and I'll be there for you, but with the things that I can be there for you, because I cannot
yeah,
give you what I don't have,
yes, yeah,
right? But talking outside of physical things, tangible things, what if I'm just really wanting to know, like, Michelle,
how old am I?
yeah, like, how old are you? My goodness gracious, why aren't you telling me? And I'm not telling you, you don't have to answer, but I'm just
I
saying
know what you
that,
mean, but I'm like, but if I don't want to tell you, like, if it's something, okay, if I feel like I don't want to tell you my age, as a friend, you should respect that.
but why are you hiding it? Why is it a big deal?
Because I can have something for myself. I can keep my business to myself. If I don't want to share, I share what I want to share as a friend. Because as friends, like you just said, as friends, we don't share everything. And we share what we want to share. And if we don't want to share it, take it and walk away. Be okay with it.
Okay. So there's when you're transparent with your friend and you share certain things with them, do you feel like there's a certain sense of well, in the realms of boundaries too, like, okay, if you can't trust me with this, then maybe I can't trust you with
No, but no, 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 no.
in a question for a friend.
Tell a friend no. Shoot. I can
Ah,
listen, I could tell you A, but if I don't want to tell you B and C, I want to keep to myself. But it doesn't mean I'll be less of a friend. It means that I want to keep something for myself, right? It doesn't make us less. But there's no way that you should try prying out of me whatever the situation is, because that is not that's not being a good friend.
okay. The
That's
part of
not it.
you not being honest about something simple, or not honest,
So
transparent.
now there are boundaries. Like
Hmm.
there are boundaries. You have to know when to hold, you have to know when to fold, you have to know when to let it go. And there are boundaries. If I don't want to share, if I don't, okay, say for example, you came to me and you said, Michelle, how many men you slept with? And I'm like, why? Are we going to be sleeping
Exactly.
together?
Exactly. Exactly.
No, I'm not going to tell you that, because why is that necessary? What is that going to do for you? Just to know my
Exactly.
numbers.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
You
There's,
know,
and as a friend, you have to know what questions to ask each too. Because if I'm speaking to you and I'm saying to you, hey, XYZ, and I don't want to share the rest of the XYZ, leave it alone. Because at the end of the day, it's my story, it's my thing to share. If I want to share it, and if we're friends like that, hence I will share it. If I don't want to share, I'm not going to share it.
yeah.
So you got no one to just like stop.
Yeah. So, like, listening to you, a couple things came up. Like, for one, it's respect.
Yes.
It's a level of respect. If someone's not willing to share something with you, you should have enough faith in the relationship that you do have to respect their boundaries, basically.
Yes.
And especially, like you just said, if the information is not information that directly impacts you, like, okay, your history, what
Yeah.
is it of a what concern is it of it to you? You know, there's no need.
Unless it's something concerning your health, then I'm like, it is like, hey, maybe they're trying to help you figure out something and it's concerning your health. Like, you're going through something right now. Okay, so for example, how many partners I've had. If you ask me that to have me go back, because I'm telling you right now, I have an STD, and you ask me that question, and you ask me that, so I can retrace the people that I slept with, so I can call them and tell them, during the process, then I understand. But let me tell you that. Don't ask me, because it might be something that I'm not willing to share, because I was willing to share. You won't have to ask in the first place. That's
Yeah,
my thought.
yeah, because even something like within the context too, because if there's a say, I guess we got on STDs, but say something happened and you, because it takes one person to screw up your life.
Yeah.
Please be careful out there. Please be careful. Um, yeah. So then, if you're really inviting that person, like, hey, I've been through this, and I want you to sit with me, and we're doing this together, and I'm going to tell you, well, I want to share that with you. Can you help me tackle this together? So then there's a reason
Yes.
for why we're going through, and not just a matter of being nosy, for instance, like to, um because then the information that we share, especially everybody has certain things in their lives that are personal to them, things that they're going to hold on to for themselves, correct? So if there's something that you're pulling out of a person, you have to know, like, hey, we don't really have this type of friendship, or this is not a place that we're typically in, involved in, as far as conversation, as far as our friendship goes. So let me understand where how I'm going to approach this, and how I'm going to, what this information is going to do, like how is it going to enhance
Yeah.
the person that I care about, how am I but to feel like you're to feel like you're in the right to know something just because you want to know,
Yeah.
for the sake of knowing, it's unbelievable to me. That's a lack of boundaries.
Yeah.
Um, but there are different types. We talked about like that question you asked me earlier. Like I have friendships. Like there are people who show up for me. My car was down a couple nights ago, and the people who showed up for me are people that I called friends. We haven't had the amount of time
I was just about
invested.
to ask you that.
Yes. I don't know a lot of their their lives. I know some of the things, like beginning conversations, when some things,
I'm
grow, and some things,
yeah.
you grow in a friendship. And because you can have like, so some of those people were well, one of them, a colleague, and a colleague that I spent time with and moved around with, but the willingness to show up and be like, okay, you have battery problems, I'll show up for you. He brought his fiance with him, and they were there, and I'm like, wow, what type of, I'm saying, the way that you choose me and value me, I will choose you. Like all of a sudden, like the way that I
Yes.
see that person, I'm gonna choose people who choose me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's another thing. You have to choose people who choose you.
You
Yeah.
have to. You
Because
have
you
to.
can't keep giving. And that's one of the lessons I want to teach my children. Show up
Mhm.
for those who show up for you and stop going after those who don't give a behind about you.
But they're my friend.
No.
They hurt. Even my 5-year-old. And I'll take it there. At school, there are kids who are not so kind, and she comes home and she complains, and I it's so many lessons that you can even learn from like the elementary level, that
Yes.
stage in
Yeah.
life, and how you deal with friends and
Yeah.
people and whatever have you. And I would be like, Stella, she's so hurtful with her words. Well, why do you tolerate it? Well, but she's my friend. And I'm like, no, not really. If she says things to hurt you, she's not your friend. But then she's like, no, mom, it wasn't a big deal to me. It was like, it bothered me for a few minutes, but I like to play with her. And so she found the bigger part in the story that made sense for her. Like she choosing herself, this is what works for me in this situation. And the other stuff, I can just let it roll off my shoulder, basically. So it's like, what do you think about situations like that? Like, what are your boundaries for yourself as far as your level of expectations? And people will hurt you all the time and say things that are definitely like the audacity of you, right? How do you, within the friendship, create those boundaries so that people do not step where they don't need to? Wait,
I mean, we all gonna step that way because
mm-hmm.
I think people just naturally go that way. However, I believe in communication. Communication, communication, communication. If you do
Yeah.
something that I don't like, it may take me a day because I know for myself that my words can be piercing. So I will take a day or two or three to gather my words together where it does not come out as being mean and hurtful. But I'm gonna say something to you because communication is the key.
It is.
Communicate with them, and whether or not you accept it, and that's how I can tell we're friends. Because if I'm saying to you, "Ouch, it hurts," and you take it to like another level,
Like, why you hurt?
then
That's serious.
then we're not that much of friends. Because as my friend, I don't want my aim is not to hurt you. And if I hurt you, then yeah, aim. If I hurt you, then I have to be able to say sorry. Or not even say sorry, they're like, hey, that was not my intentions that it happened. I was just trying to do X, Y, Z. And then move on because what's the point of dwelling on it? You can't cry was go ahead.
So my
You want
lips.
to say something.
My lips were like, ooh. No, you just said something. What about apologizing when you don't think that what you said, if the person receives it a certain way, do you think that as a friend you owe them an apology? If, like, how do you deal with those in friendships? Like, you took it that way. It wasn't my intention to offend you, but if you interpreted it that way and you're offended,
I don't think
is
anyone
it
should
my is
apologize
it
if it's
my
not
duty?
genuine.
Is
Do
it
you
not?
apologize just to apologize?
I think sometimes a lot of times I choose love over being right. So for me, if an apology means that much to you, it's not a matter to squash whatever it is. I would apologize because I don't have the same triggers that you have. Everything's not going to mean the same thing because we're different. So something that offends you or hurts you, even if I don't understand it, I don't have to understand it for me to acknowledge it.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that. Sometimes I apologize, sometimes I don't. Um, being honest. If I think that, like you said, it depends on the relationship. Because if I'm constantly saying, yeah, it depends on the relationship. It depends. And it depends on what it is too. Because I'm just not gonna apologize to you. Because yeah, no, it all depends. I can go on and on and on, but I can't. But yeah, it depends. Let me just say it depends on the situation. But I will apologize if it means that much to our relationship. Yes. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. And even though I don't mean it, I'll work within whatever situation and I'll just like go through the scenario in my head a couple of times.
Yeah, because it's. I can still say to you, I apologize from a genuine place that it caused you to hurt, not necessarily your interpretation of what I said, but if you, my friend, I don't necessarily want to see you hurting because of
Yeah.
something that I said, right? But it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that because you decide to, well, because you interpreted what I said and it brought offense to you or triggered something or whatever have you, um, that part is on you. I cannot. That's clear as day. However, if I love you and I realize, like I just said, repeating it, I don't want to see you hurt, so I will apologize that what I did or what I said took you to that point. And again,
Yeah.
like you said, communication at a more appropriate time to deal with whatever the issue is, then we can always come back to it because if the friendship is worth holding on to, if I value it, I value you, I value my contribution. Sometimes you sacrifice, sometimes you give.
Yeah.
That would be one of those times where, you know, you sacrifice and you take one for the team.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Michelle is
totally
correct with
agree.
me.
I totally
Yeah.
agree. Okay, to wrap this video up, can you give me what is your thought process of friendship and boundaries? Do you think it's necessary? When do you put a pin in it? Like, hey, you can't cross this line. How do you go about doing that in your friendship? And don't talk about our friendship because there's no boundary. No, I'm
I,
just joking.
there are boundaries. Let me tell you about yourself, woman.
Remember our conversation yesterday when I tell you don't sweat? No, nonetheless.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I know. Michelle's over in her part of the country, telling me what's happening in my world, telling me I'm not tired, and telling me I only sweat a little when I worked out. I'm like, how do you know? Look, now my forehead is sweating already. How do you know what's going on over here,
do you
lady?
have a light? Do you have
Boundaries.
light going on around you?
Yeah, my ceiling light is on right above me, so
Oh,
it's
so hence the reason. So that's not sweat. That's just glow from the light.
that's the squirrel from the light. That's just, yes.
Come again. Try
I
again.
know, I
Try
know.
again.
So yeah, but going back to I'm looking at the time. Going back to what you asked, boundaries are important. Boundaries protect you. Boundaries help define you, define who you are. So there has to be boundaries. You set up boundaries with your spouse, your children, your parents. You get to a point where I mean, and it's what works for you. You design those boundaries based on what works for you, but they are important because
Okay.
you don't want to resent someone who does something to hurt you and they don't know that they're crossing a boundary. So
Yeah.
you set up those boundaries, you communicate those boundaries, and you respect each other as friends. And hopefully you can kumbaya and keep going.
What if the person does not receive what you're saying to them when
They
you
have,
do set up that boundaries? What do you do as an individual?
no, you always allow people to do what they need for themselves to decide whether to stay or whether to walk away. A
But do you
friendship,
think that's a friendship there? Because
yeah,
do you think that's a real friendship if I'm setting up boundaries for you and you decide to be like, oh, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like if you asked me my age and I said no, I don't want to tell you, and then you stop talking to me. Do you think that's a real friendship?
yeah, friendships evolve and change and they don't last forever necessarily. Friendships could be for a season. So it doesn't take away from what happened. So you live moment by moment and you accumulate a lot of history of a person and it's beautiful, or you have certain amounts of experiences that are great and you have that special connection with that person. But if the connection changes or eventually you start to pull apart, and you're finding that those boundaries don't work for you because you've changed, you've evolved, and you're needing different things, you can then decide that, hey, I'm no longer thriving here. I no longer feel safe here. I no longer trust this. I need to
Okay.
pull back. You're never, not even in a marriage, you can get a divorce. So within a friendship as well, you can divorce that friend if you
Okay.
need to.
But one thing I always want to say though, I feel like we need to stop going back. I said we because I know I've done it in the past. When we stop being friends with people, that it has to be like I can't stand that person, and it always has to be attached to hate or like we can go our separate ways and still love each other. It's just in work, or just like in a relationship between a man and woman, like it didn't work out, but we can still love each other. So it's like, yeah, I think that's another thing with friendship too. Like unless that person did something like to kill or something that harm you in a way, I feel like we can all walk away and still love each other.
I have people like that in my life. I have a few women I was super close to, and um, those friendships hurt. Like they hurt me. Like I've never experienced divorce, but I felt like those friendships coming apart felt like it ripped my heart apart. And not that it necessarily ended on a like with strife, but just mostly disappointment. And but I had to choose myself, and in as much as it hurt, I had to walk away from the level of friendship that we had. And I still love them. I
Yeah.
still love them. A great portion of some of the best parts of my life and experiences I shared with them. I can't detach them from those experiences. So when I think of them, I think of them fondly. I have no ill feelings towards any of them. I love them. Like if I needed to be there for them, if they needed, probably, if it's something I can do. But with that said, am I going out of my way to be in your life? No, I'm gonna love you from a distance. Peace be with you.
Bow gracefully.
Yeah, bow gracefully. Peace be with you.
But guys, you can see how we feel about this conversation of friendship because we've been going on for like almost half an hour now.
No, please. I'll probably stay till the end.
Again, thank you guys for liking, subscribing. Please continue to share. Please continue to give us topics you want to speak about, and we will do so. Sorry if you see this in my background. That's my daughter's balloon from her birthday party.
Happy
So
belated.
again, thank you. Have a great day. We love you. Please come back again.
Yes. Bye, everyone.